I'm Sheldon McLeod, and this is Thinking Out Loud, presented to you by Saltwire. And there are a lot of people working very hard right now, a lot of people who are struggling to try to comprehend what's just happened, and others who are, well, not really sure what's going to happen. The province put up a page on the website, novascotia.ca/alerts, talking about the fire in Westwood Hills, Tantallon, about 788 hectares, they say, and it's out of control. Number of, obviously crews are on scene. There's also another fire that's burning Barrington Lake area, Shelburne County, and it is almost 10 times the size at 6,270 hectares. And I happen to know someone who had, posted on their own social media, and it's gotten some attention, the fact that they are down in the Shelburne County area, and they are not quite sure what's going on. In fact, there was an update, perhaps, as earlier today, the house is still there, but Sam Brannan is going to share her story with us. We saw a bit earlier in the newscast with Kate Walker. And Sam, thank you for speaking with me. I know these are challenging times. Tell me where you are right now.
We're in Jordan Bay at my mother and my stepfather's. This was the most logical point. They had extra rooms and space and could accommodate us. So we headed east and came here.
And the highway, a section of highway, is still closed off. How was that trying to navigate all that's going on in your community right now?
As far as leaving, it was relatively simple. We had one way out, and that was the way to go. We were just following a line of traffic. There were three roads along the river that were emptying out of there. Four, I guess, technically, that were at least for half emptying out of there and into Shelburne. The other half is heading down around the shore to Barrington. Very surreal. We didn't really know anything. We had suspected information, or we suspected that we would have to be leaving soon. But we also suspected that the night before, had not heard anything, thought it was under control and dealt with. And then we had gotten not a knock at the door, but DNR or one of the fire department volunteers showed up and told us we had to go at around 12:30 yesterday morning.
And what was that like, getting that word?
Honestly, I guess it's devastating and a kind of a relief at the same time, because it was really the first official communication that we'd had that this was imminent. It would have all been guesswork. We couldn't find any reliable, consistent source of information to confirm what we thought we knew. So it was kind of a relief in that. We knew, okay, this is real, and there's something organized and in place. And as soon as we got to the head of our road, as we live down a dirt road along the river, and got to the head of the road and realized just how many, boots on the ground personnel there were there handling everything, we knew that all hands were on deck to deal with this.
The size, it's really hard to get your head around it. And clearly the population is less, there's fewer people who live in the community there compared to what's happening in Halifax. You mentioned the communication. Were there alerts? Did your community get anything on your device? Did you hear from anyone before you got that knock on the door?
No. I had read on an unofficial social media account that there was going to be an evacuation order put in place, or had just come into place. But we had nothing official. The only official provincial level piece of communication that I could find was through Twitter, which I had left and rejoined just to find some information. DNR, whatever, at their site. But it was sketchy, sporadic, and didn't insinuate that there was any real immediate threat. So yeah, it was, we knew based on what we were seeing in the area as far as smoke and the smell, we suspected, but we didn't know until that truck showed up.
With the emergency preparedness, we're told to be ready for something, anything, but it's a whole different situation when it's real and it's affecting you. What kind of preparations would you have had? What kind of thoughts did you ever put towards the possibility or likelihood something like this could happen?
Well, we're always prepared because of hurricanes and whatnot to remain in place. hadn't really, had some thoughts about, well, what would we take? And because we started being concerned the night before, based on our own observations, this looks like this fire is going to head toward us. We're not knowing anything for sure. And can't see anything, finally closed the road. We thought, well, we better be prepared to leave. So we had gone through and we had, packed some cherished items, our photo albums and our fireproof safe and things like that, and loaded them into Doug's trailer, my husband Doug's trailer. And the car had the cats ready to go inside, the dogs, those odd things, but which I've determined that I am a terrible packer when it comes to emergency, because I packed a bathing suit and a dress. I work in an office, and yet I only pack sneakers on my feet and some sweat clothes. So it really didn't make much sense. But then we had a delay because we didn't hear anything, didn't have a knock on the door Saturday night, woke up Sunday morning, 5:30, we were out on the road, no crews around, assumed that the danger had passed. And then really by, I would say 9:30, 10 o'clock, looked like that might not be the case. So we thought, okay, well, what else do we need that we could possibly take? So we started grabbing a few more things, just irreplaceable things that we have. Weed whackers and things like that aren't important, but artwork and photographs and, antiques and heirlooms. So threw a few more things in. Unfortunately, we had put the cats out in the morning when we thought the danger had passed, and we couldn't get them back in. So we had to leave without the cats. I have no reason to believe there's anything that's happened, and we're quite close to the river. So I'm hopeful for that. And that was, kind of in the back of our minds, but we didn't have time. We couldn't get them back. And so, yeah, it was bizarre just actually doing it when, we thought we were being really pensive about it all and methodical, and not necessarily, I guess. But we're all safe, and we're here.
I did hear an update from an official in HRM about specifically that part of the province, but also referring to the entire situation, forest fires in Nova Scotia, saying thankfully there's no one been reported missing, that thankfully it sounds as if no one's been hurt. But even so, that still puts people in a position, as you say, where things, cherished, unreplaceable things are gone. And you're in a situation now, you're still not entirely clear what the future holds. So, Sam, any advice, any thoughts to share for people who think, well, it'll never happen to me? Really,
I think now that I've been through it, I would go back and make a list and break it down. I had that list that we just have ingrained in our brains for, remaining in place for bad weather or extreme weather or something like that. But we didn't really have anything in place for this, because we knew, if it's just us and that's it, that's the best thing to get out. We have that fireproof safe that's in a convenient location, and, we go. And I know those irreplaceable small things that I would grab. I grabbed far more than that. I realized that my attic is in much need of being organized, as I'm trying to find my 22-year-old's childhood toys, and so that she had something. And my son's packing his computer, an Xbox, of course, because that's what's most important to him, and a few of his toys. But yeah, I would make a list and have that, take a picture of it, have it in your phone, have it on your fridge, or, have some things already in place so they're ready to go. The most important things, I guess, in place, which that part we did. The things that you need to think about, videotaping the inside of your home so that you have some kind of proof to show insurance companies afterwards what you have, so they're not having to take you on word or trying to find receipts that have been lost. Documenting things like that, having your important documents with you. But yeah, a list, I guess that's the best thing I can think of.
I know you posted that we need all of your good thoughts, vibes, and prayers, and I'm sure many folks are sending their wishes and their hopes and their thoughts and their prayers to you right now.
I hope so. Barrington is a crisis situation. It's driving everyone west. There's a lineup to get into evacuation centers. I've heard of a fire, or at least smoke spotted in Woods Harbor. We're narrowing down the areas that we have to go. We're completely separated. I can't I've tried to plan for making sure that our staff members at the museum complex can get paid. I can't be there to sign checks. So got, our bookkeeper to go in and pack up our personnel records and things like that and take them so that everybody else can still continue to live and exist and without barriers as much as possible. And trying to prepare for the eventuality that the fire does pass through Barrington and takes our museums as well.
Sam, I wish nothing but the best to you and your family. I thank you for sharing and for finding the strength to do that. Thank you.
You're welcome, Sheldon. Have a good day.